Well, welcome to Joshua Tree Reptile Haven. This is the first chance this morning I've gotten to do a video. Yesterday afternoon, we got a call about a California Desert Tortoise that had most likely been hit by a car. That's the tortoise that we had to take this morning to have emergency surgery. And the tortoise is there, and the tortoise has already gotten pain medication and is underway in its medical treatment. We were supposed to then go to the Burbank Animal Shelter and get a couple more animals, then come to Corona, then go to Cajon to donate some food for some tortoises. Now that was the plan all the way up until this morning when I was about an hour from the house. We're not familiar with LA traffic, and it kicked our butt this morning. I was able to get to the vet right when they opened, but there was no way I could get to Burbank first before I had to be Corona, because this is Emerald, a red-eared slider that a lovely couple has had for 10 years. And they were already on their way from San Diego to meet me here, so there was no way I could postpone it. So I had to skip the animal shelter to get here. We were also meeting another family to get this little guy, who is now a girl. Theo. We have let the family know that it is a female and to go ahead and come up with a name. So we're not going to name him or her. We'll let the family do it. And I really want to say a thank you to those two families. The tortoise this morning was the priority. There was no question about it. That tortoise needed medical attention immediately. And those two families were more than willing to work with us to meet us a little bit later so that we could get that done. And thank you so much for that. So the plan changed. Drop the tortoise off, come straight to Corona. Now I'm going to go to Cajon and feed the tortoises. Then I'll come back to Burbank and get the animals from there, 2 tortoises. Then I will go back to Calabasas to get the tortoise from the vet. Quite the day, but a typical day in the life of a tortoise sanctuary. When I was a child, and I'll never forget this, a wise man once told me that if you never make a plan, nothing can go wrong. That was MacGyver. And so we try not to hold any plan like it's written in stone, and today is a good example of that. But I did text one of those families this morning because we were worried how we were going to coordinate all this to come from all these different areas and try to estimate traffic and what time we would be here. And I text that if God willing, it will work. Here we are. It worked. I did put out a couple shorts this morning, so some of you may be aware of already what has happened. It will take me a couple days to get this video edited, but thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy the story. A turtle and a tortoise that will now have a forever home and a happy life. Guaranteed. And so that's a great thing. No matter what it is that we have to do to accomplish that, it's worth it. That's why yesterday, when we got the call from the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center about the desert tortoise that most likely was hit by a car, there was no question. Now, there is an organization in California that keeps harassing us and is supposed to be the only legal, in their own, this is their words, the only legal place that California desert tortoises can go. Well, yesterday there was a tortoise that needed medical attention, and that organization wouldn't pick up the phone. And they've got a dozen chapters, not one. So we knew that in order for the tortoise that's now at the vet, in order for that tortoise to even have the slightest chance at a life, we had to drop everything we were doing and get it done. And that's exactly what we did. You might be able to tell there's a little grumpiness in my voice, in my tone when I talk about that. It really does bother us. We're doing absolutely nothing illegal. We are doing, and that's evident because they keep filing complaints and nothing's happened. We're still here making videos. Fish and Wildlife hasn't shut us down, and that's because we don't do anything wrong. But, you know, it's about the tortoise, not the title. And in our opinion, that seems to be what they care about more than the tortoise. I'm going to get Emerald out of the water. We'll get him into what's called dry dock. That is with no water. He will be fine. Red ear sliders can live for days out of the water. But that will ensure that he's safe on the trip home. With the water in here, it sloshes around and they can end up inhaling it or something like that. And so we don't transport them with water. And then little Theo, Theo's a girl though, but put Theo in here. Get on the road. I will try to get some more video. It's 11 o'clock and today started at 3. And so I'll try to get some video on the road to put in this, some B-roll. And again, we just want to say thank you. You, the person that's watching this, the person I'm talking to right now, you are the reason we are we are able to do this. Your support in watching these stories is what brings awareness, donations, as well as tortoises and turtles. And so thank you. Time to hit the road. Stay tuned. Okay, it's okay. Well, we're almost home. This is the famous Red Rocks of California. He's gonna be okay. I stopped here to check on him. I'm gonna put her back in here. This is a big female Russian tortoise, and she's been at the animal shelter since the beginning of June. The other tortoises that we got, they were also in desperate need of not just a good home, but a great home. Not just a temporary home, but a forever home. And they have that. Then there's the desert tortoise that was hit by the car. 24 hours ago, somebody had found that tortoise and stopped, or however it happened, and picked that tortoise up and said, we need to find someone to fix this tortoise. We need to find a rehab. Whoever that person was, thank you. They did find a facility. That facility called us. And now 24 hours later, that tortoise is in the front seat, fresh out of surgery. It couldn't have went any better than that. That's what the people expected when they saw the tortoise, and that's exactly what happened. And the reason why that happened is because we don't care about any of that other BS. Those of you that watch the channel, you've seen us. We've proven that our actions speak louder than our words. These other tortoises that the animal shelter had, there's no telling what kind of life they've had. And now they're going to have a great one. What's wrong with that? I really don't know how to go about it. We really don't want to be negative. But it seems like the more we help, the bigger target we become. These tortoises will be, the desert tortoises, they will be permitted through Fish and Wildlife, which is required by law. That's exactly what every other single one has done, or we have done with every other one. The Russian will go in an individual pen. The one that had surgery, she has a follow-up in a month. And just because of the nature of the injury and how close it is in wintertime, she probably won't brumate, and that's hibernate. And the reason why is, with such a traumatic injury, there's no way that we would feel safe with her going into hibernation. There's also, we don't know what kind of nutrition or shape she's in. We've only had her for 24 hours. So she'll now be guaranteed a chance to live through the winter, because, to be honest with you, her chances were pretty slim. The area that this happened, and some of you may be familiar with it, the Mammoth ski area of California, it's near there. That tortoise has driven 600 miles now in the last 24 hours. That might sound like a lot, but all that is really is to the vet and back. That's the distances that need to be traveled to get a tortoise like that help. So we're happy to be there and be a part of it. And thank you for supporting us, because you're just as big a part of it as we are. It's been a very, very long day. 17 hours. So that Russian that I was holding, she's been in a dog kennel, a box, for almost 3 months. We have tortoises and turtles that have been through decades. But that breaks my heart to think that a tortoise is set in a box for 3 months, not knowing what is going on. Well, they're all checked in. I want to say thank you to the families that helped. Oh, and I should bring up that there's the family that we took the food for the tortoises. Now, to clear things up, they had bought this property and these animals were abandoned there. Now, to their credit, they knew that something was wrong with Wilson and found somebody, and it was us, to take him. So that was a great thing. They have decided that they would like to keep the remaining tortoises and do the best that they can to give them a good life, a great life. They've even are so willing to do that that they've reached out for help. You can't ask for more than that. There's no sense in, for us, we want every tortoise to have the best, but that doesn't mean it has to be with us. The best is actually to be with someone else so that another tortoise that doesn't have that opportunity can be with us. And so them being willing to do what it takes and then ask for help, that shows a lot. If you'd like to send that family a message, because they are viewers, do it in the comments. I'm sure that they would love to hear from you. It's families like this that are willing to go the extra mile, to do what is needed, and ask, that are the greatest homes for tortoises, because it's such an unknown hobby or a not well documented pet. There's not a lot of correct information out there. So that's what's needed for a family to be successful tortoise keepers, and they've exhibited that. We're going to work with them and get some insulated houses for those tortoises before the winter comes. They actually thought they had a male and a female, 2 males, 2 females, but they have 3 females and 1 male. And so today what we did was we separated the male from the female and put the 2 females with that other female. So now there's a group of 3 girls in a very large area, and then there's the male by himself, and that's the best way it should be. There's no need in making babies. They have 4 tortoises that they're going to have a lifetime to love, and they understand that, and so that's really a cool thing. I'm going to get back on the road. The sun's going down. I'm going to try to get home before it gets dark. I left hours before the sun came up, and I'm trying to do my best to get home before the sun goes down. Happy to do it. These animals deserve it. And I think the point of this video is going to be that if we didn't do this, who would? These other agencies or people that want to be involved with the controlling of the desert tortoises, they were nowhere to be found. And the phone numbers that were available, nobody answered, which is not uncommon. The other ones that we got from the families, they're aware. That's what I'll say. And they've decided to have them come to us. So I think the point of this video is this is another example. The desert tortoise up north. There's a tortoise with the broken shell and nobody to help. We're happy to fill those shoes. Until the next video.